How can you simplify your work, but without dumbing it down, without taking out of it the real thing, the real complexity and the real importance of your work that you did, that you want to showcase and that you want others to see and to perceive? So what happens here usually is that whenever STEM professionals have to explain their work, they tend to fall in one of the two extremes, right? One extreme would be to simplify a lot the work that they did, and in that sense also losing some part of the essence of the work that was done, oversimplifying and not actually showcasing the complexity behind it in a way that is actually understandable. And the other part is going the completely other limit and opposite direction, which is not simplifying enough. Saying it, or as I would like to say, vomiting data, which is something that we also typically see in conferences, right? When you are in a conference and there is a person speaking, you really, in I would say 80% of the cases, you get lost when the person is speaking. And this happens because that person didn't achieve to actually make sure that the work that they are doing, that is complex, abstract, and so on, actually is understandable for people who do not live in their microcosmos, who do not live in their expertise, who do not live basically in their head. So how can we find sort of that sweet spot between those two extremes? What doesn't work is actually not thinking about it and saying, okay, I will just give everything to my audience and let them figure out how to connect the dots. For some, it will be too much, and for others, it will be too little, but okay, let's do something like that. And this doesn't work because you actually don't get the attention of neither parts of the audience, right? First of all, the ones that don't understand you will not clearly understand you if you do not make an intentional effort for your work to be understandable and clear to them. And the others, who are the ones who actually get the complexity of your work, are also not going to understand you because you are sort of in the middle and not connecting the parts that are essential to express and explain your work in a way that is understandable. So what does work? The thing that I found that works, I would say, like a charm in almost 100% of the cases is to stop for a moment, think about your audience, and think what is it that they care about. One of the methods that I use all the time with my clients is exactly this one. Doing an audience analysis and actually stopping for a moment and thinking who are the people who are going to listen to your talk or read your report, read your paper, and so on, and what is that thing that they need in order to understand you and your work and whatever it is that you're doing. So usually this always boils down to their interest. Their interest, their pain point, their main interest in that moment. For example, if you are speaking to a broader audience who doesn't belong to your specific field, they are probably interested in some more general problem. For example, I don't know, how to optimize something, or how to make something, how to find, I don't know, in very general terms, the cure for cancer, right? So this is like going general until you reach a point of saying, okay, maybe this is too general. I have found a common denominator that interests all of those people that I can then try to connect to my work. And that is actually the part that requires the skill. How do you connect your work and tell your work in terms of a story that directly matches and connects to the interest that your audience is having? The interest, the problem, the pain point, whatever it is that you are trying to really pinpoint during your talk. And that's the part that requires skill. I believe that everything can be told through a story. I have a lot of teaching experience and have taught students that belong to many different expertise, and there are some biologists, engineers, and so on. So they were belonging to very different fields, and yet I feel that there is always a way to sort of connect your work and connect the thing that you're talking about to their interest. But of course, as always, this is something that requires skill, but in my opinion, it is a skill that is very, very much worth having. Because whenever you're talking to people who are even a little bit outside of your expertise, you sort of need to keep their attention. You need to make sure that they are interested in what you are saying. And you're not going to achieve that if you dumb it down, because it will become like you will water it out. It will not be interested enough. It will be like it will lose its magic. And the other extreme is overcomplicating and actually achieving that they are lost in this sort of bunch of explanations, in this bunch of data that is quite difficult to understand without some context, without some story, without some background. Having said that, I want to claim one thing. So if you are sort of torn between how to explain your work, how to, you're not sure if something is too simple, if something is too complex, the best way you can sort of solve this dilemma is to really ask yourself, what is your audience here for? What is their main interest, their main pain point, and then find a way to connect your work to that interest. This skill is exactly what I teach in my coaching program. With my clients, we spend a lot of time practicing this skill of connecting your work to someone else's pain points, someone else's interests, and so on, in a way that we make sure that their work, the work those brilliant STEM professionals are doing, is actually seen as recognized for its own brilliance. If you're interested in training this muscle of how to tell your story, how to express your work as a story that the audience who is listening to you is going to actually listen and pay attention to, whether you are presenting in a conference, pitching for some funding, or actually looking for a promotion, it is crucial to achieve this skill of making sure that other people see the value of your work and they are able to understand what it is all about. Having said that, if you're interested in seeing how this coaching thing looks like, I will leave a link down below where you can schedule a completely free introductory session with me, where we can do exactly that, see how coaching works, where you can explain me what are your challenges, what are your struggles that you're struggling with currently in your career, and of course, see if we are a good fit to work together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, see you next time in another video. Bye bye.